Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a book haul. I recently posted an unhaul, and if you watched that video, you know we got a lot of store credit at my local used bookstore called Bookman's. If you're ever in Arizona, I highly recommend checking them out and changing hands because they are the coolest, best used bookstores. They give you so much store credit for your books, and on top of that, they sell books for a really good price. This last time we happened to only go to Bookman's, and this particular used bookstore also sells video games. So I'm actually going to show a video game in this haul as well, but I'm going to start off with the books that we got there, and I'm very excited to say that we got all of these books basically for free because we used our store credit on these and we still had $10 left over. And the video game. We got these books and the video game that I'm going to show you all with our store credit and still had $10 left over. The first two books, I feel kind of dumb doing this, but we didn't actually spend money on it, so I don't feel too bad. I got the first two books in Joe Abercrombie's young adult series, Half a King and Half the World. I've heard good things about this series. I recently read the first Law trilogy by him, which is his adult fantasy trilogy. I really enjoyed it, and I actually bought the paperback of Half a King a little while ago with this exact same cover, but when I went to the bookstore, I saw they had both the first and the second in the hardcovers, and I was like, I probably should just get the hardcovers. I don't feel too bad about doing that. Like I said, one, because it didn't actually cost me anything, and two, that just means I'll take in the paperback for store credit later on. So I don't feel too bad about doing that. It's kind of like I traded in, upgraded, and then got the second one on top of that. They're in really good condition. They're really pretty covers. I really like these covers. They're gorgeous. At the time that I had gotten the paperback of this one, I was still in the middle of reading the first Law trilogy, so I was kind of not sure how much I was gonna love it. But by the end of it, even though there were some things I didn't love about the ending, I still really liked Joe Abercrombie as an author, his works, and I was like, okay, I feel pretty okay about buying the second book. I try not to buy sequels. I haven't read the first book, but I like Abercrombie's works. I like his writing style. I like young adult books, and I've heard good things. Continuing on with the whole buying a sequel when I haven't read the first one, I picked up this book for a couple of reasons. The cover is so pretty. It's got that classic fantasy cover, except for gorgeous. Some classic fantasy covers are a little cheesy, and they're fun because they're cheesy, but they're also really cheesy. And this one maybe has a hint of cheese, but to me that looks like a fantasy puzzle. It just looks so pretty, and I have heard really good things about Guy Gavriel Kay. I have the first one of this series, and it's one of my goals this next year to read some Guy Gavriel Kay. From what I understand, he basically writes historical fiction. It just happens to be fantasy. It's a different world, but almost all of his works, again, from what I've been told, are set in a certain time period and area of our own world, but he makes it fantasy. And so I love historical fiction and I love fantasy. So this combination sounds perfect to me. I have the first one in this series in the same cover format, and from what I could tell, it's not the easiest to find these covers, so I just figured it was really inexpensive. We had store credit. I'd go ahead and pick this one up. I don't feel too bad about having the first two in this series without having read the first one, because of the fact that these are pretty slim. Most fantasy books are quite large, but I don't feel too bad giving the first two books in the series a try to see how he expands into the second one after the first one, because compared to a lot of other modern fantasy books, when you've got books that are, 600 plus pages, this one, an older fantasy that's 375, that's very doable. I can do that and the second one. And the first one, I mean. The next book is a book that my husband got, and that would be Underworld. No, not the vampire story, Underworld. Different story. And my husband is currently reading a book by this author, and he was telling me that the book he's reading right now, he's been telling me a lot about it as he's been reading it. It won an award, and it's so bizarre and kind of silly and satirical, and he's been enjoying it, but it's been so random. And then this one is supposed to be really serious from what I can tell. And so he figured he hasn't really been able to find this at our local libraries, nor can he find it on Overdrive. So he was like, hey, this is only $8. We have store credit. It's here. I'm going to pick it up. Those were the books that we got at Bookman's. We also got the video game Detroit Become Human. This was $18, which is already a great price. I'm gonna say for the bajillionth time that we had store credit, so I didn't feel too bad getting it. And I have been really interested in this game for quite a long time.
More and more androids show signs of deviancy. There are millions in circulation. If they become unstable, the consequences will be disastrous.
Video games are one of those things where they're definitely my guilty pleasure. Obviously, most things we do in our spare time are things we do for enjoyment, but there's something about video games that it's my ultimate just veg out on the couch sort of activity for me. I don't feel that way for some reason when I'm reading and when I'm drawing, but I love video games and it just feels like pure guilty pleasure. I don't know why. I'm not saying anybody should feel guilty about playing video games. I love video games, but I try not to buy them new very often unless it's really anticipated, like the Final Fantasy VII Remake that I'm so excited for. Otherwise, I figure I'm not going to get to these anytime soon because I really have to feel good about having gotten so many things accomplished and I don't have a lot to do on my to-do list. That's just how I feel when I sit down to play video games. I have to feel like I have the time, the spare time to spare. And so when I saw this, I was like, I've been wanting this for a while. The holidays are coming up. I just feel like we're gonna have a little bit of time to spend playing video games. Around the holidays is usually when my husband and I like to play video games. So I was really excited about this. Also, if you've played this game, let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know how much you like it. And let me know what other kinds of games you like so I can kind of get an idea of maybe what it's similar to. So those were the books and the video game that we got. And like I said before, we had $10 in store credit left over. So our local bookstore is awesome. We didn't spend any money on any of those books. The next 3 books I'm going to show you, we did spend some money on, but I was wanting to upgrade to these anyway, and they were kind of sort of a present from my husband because recently he got sick, and then I got sick, and then I had jury duty, and I was just so sad about all of that because obviously nobody likes getting sick. But with the holidays coming up, for those that don't know, I'm a private violin teacher. So around the holidays, I tend to not work as much. A lot of my students, they take time off for the holidays. And so to have me get sick this was right before Thanksgiving. I knew I already wasn't really going to be teaching around Thanksgiving. So I got sick the week before. Then I had jury duty the Monday before Thanksgiving. And I was like, gosh darn it, because that's just money out the window. And so my husband just felt really bad for me. He knew I wanted these books. So he got me the Wicked King, or Cruel Prince Folk of the Air box set. I mentioned in my unhaul that I took in Cruel Prince and Wicked King because they were just a little damaged from our doggy Luna, chewing on them a little bit. You, Missy, have been a bad girl. I know, you feel bad. The spine's gone. This one, the paperback, or the sleeve I mean, is basically gone. She just did this tonight when we went to the grocery store. And so I was like, you know what? I'll take those in. And I actually really like these black covers, the Barnes & Noble exclusive editions. So maybe when the 3rd one comes out, because it was an anticipated release of mine this year, I figured maybe I can get this one in the dark cover and then eventually get around to getting these 2. But they had a sale going on for a box set for basically the price of 2 of these. They had this box set for that price, and like I said, my husband, he just felt so bad for me, so it was kind of like I'm sorry you're sick and have jury duty, here's some books present. That's it though for the books that we have gotten recently and the video game. I know that we're gonna have another book haul here coming up pretty soon at the end of the year because Christmas is coming up. I have definitely bought my husband some stuff that is book related, so he'll probably be joining me in the next book haul to talk about things that I got him, and chances are he's going to get me some bookish things as well. But definitely let me know. I'm very curious because the holidays are coming up. I'd love to know what books you guys are hoping to get, whether somebody gets them for you or you get gift cards and then you buy them for yourselves. That's it though. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.